I am Mother Russia.
Hello again, and welcome back to Storm Talk. Today we'll be taking a look at Zarya. I know I just screwed that up. I'm not even going to try it again. I will probably screw it up even more. She is the Defender of Russia. You can go ahead and read her brief bio. We'll take a look at her character. Her character model is pretty good. It is basically the Overwatch character model.
The battle awaits us.
This is her basic skin, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, there isn't really a lot to be said about it. If you've played Overwatch, if you've seen her character, yeah, this is her. As far as the design goes, I'm kind of happy to see how it worked.
How about a trial?
But it's
My
a little...
particle cannon makes quite the impression.
With Zarya and Alarak, one of the weird things is these characters are already in games. So, it's like, oh yeah, they're literally just using the same model that they did for the other game. Although I think Alarak came out in Heroes the same time he came out in StarCraft 2, but... yeah. Where StarCraft 2,
Come, the battle awaits us.
like StarCraft 2's Kerrigan and Zagara were really big influences on the heroes. These ones are kind of a little more like, well, yeah, of course they're going to look good. We've already seen them in this engine. So, it's one of those awkward, there isn't much to say about it moments. So let's go ahead and talk about her
How about a trial? My
abilities.
particle cannon makes quite the impression.
Her trait is that each time she uses her personal barrier or shield ally barrier, each time in one of those abilities, or 10 damage, it increases her energy by 1. Each point of energy increases Zara's damage by 2%. After half a second, the energy will decay by 2.5 per second. So,
Come, the battle awaits us.
woman, I'm talking. Long story short, every time you take damage, you gain energy. After a couple of or a half a second delay of not gaining energy, you start losing energy. Pretty basic, pretty simple. Her basic abilities are Particle Grenade, Charge cooldown.
How about a trial? My particle cannon makes quite the impression.
A charge cooldown of 8 seconds. I believe you get 3 charges, possibly 4. I can't remember if the 4th one is from an ability or not, or from one of the talents or not. Her W is Personal Barrier, cooldown 10 seconds, gain a shield that absorbs damage for 3 seconds. It's a little weird that this doesn't make you absorb all damage over the course of, 1 second.
Come, the battle awaits us.
But I can definitely see where they're coming from with this. Medivh ended up getting a invulnerability spell, basically. Castable invulnerability for 1 second, and that's an extremely powerful spell. So having that on another character, and having that on multiple characters, you start getting into the guy who's channeling the Dragon Knight, make him immune to damage, make him immune to damage, make him immune to damage, and you can't even stop him. Her final basic ability is Shield Ally. Has a cooldown of 12 seconds, so 10 seconds here, 12 seconds here. It grants an allied hero a shield that absorbs damage for the same amount of time. Slightly weaker shield, slightly longer cooldown, no biggie. Her heroics are Gravitational Surge. This is her ultimate ability in Overwatch.
Come, the battle awaits us.
You drop a gravity bomb, and that gravity bomb will then draw people to it. And the opposite is you drop a gravity bomb, and that gravity bomb repels people away from it. The one that repels people will do damage, and the other one doesn't. But the other one can
How
be
about the trial? My
stacked with your particle grenades to do a
impression.
ton of damage. So that's probably the reason for that. We'll go ahead and take a look at her skins. So you have the Defender of Russia basic, red, and her white skin, her master skin, yellow and white, and then her Thunder Guard, red, and then green. I think I'm going to go with the red Thunder Guard just to show it off. I love the eyes.
Come, the battle awaits us.
Like, you can see the eye color with each of these, but blue eyes, okay, that's kind of magical, but also kind of normal. Green eyes, kind of magical, but also kind of normal. Red eyes, okay, you're a Sith or something. You're definitely magic is going on here. So, let's go ahead and jump in here. Okay.
This should be good.
Choose a talent.
So, let's go ahead and talk about some of our abilities here. So, particle grenade. Okay, there is 4 of them. You have 4, and you can drop them. Since they are charges, you can drop them in quick succession, but regaining one of them will take a little while. So let's just hurry that up real quick. Similar to other charged abilities, toggle cooldowns does completely fill her energy bar.
Maximum charge.
And as you can see, while energy is full,
Why
she
not?
does much more damage. And you can see as it goes down, her damage numbers start dropping as well.
Alert enabled.
You can even kind of see the core, if I can get her to stand in the right section. And as this hits 0, that should kind of pale out and continue looking like this. Huh, maybe it doesn't on this skin. On her normal skin, you can kind of see that goes pale, and it becomes much brighter as it becomes thicker.
Looking
But
forward to
at
it.
level 1 on basic, 25 damage compared to the 70 she was putting out earlier. So that's basically a bonus 200% damage. So that's 300% of her damage, 25, 75. Pretty simple numbers there. Her personal barrier drops on herself. Her shield ally ability can drop on an ally. Does not go on minions, can only be dropped on an ally hero, but can also not be used on her. Another thing that makes her very nice and special is her basic attack can penetrate. Making her a very AoE centered
I will
hero.
enjoy this. Maximum charge.
Now this is of course with the cooldowns, but you replace those cooldowns with, say, an extra ally or two, and you can see that working the same way. Her damage bonus does also work for her particle grenade, so
Time to go.
there is that. And for the most part, while the numbers do go up, her things pretty much stay the same. You can see current level here and there, and just all the basic things.
Acknowledged.
We're still at level 1, so we're going to go ahead and toggle enemies. Let's go ahead and toggle ourselves.
Looking forward to it.
I'm probably going to stop after doing this and like cut over to just using the basic Arthas bot for future game matches, but this is a nice little feature to kind of mess around with. choosing the specific hero you want to pick up. Now, one nice thing about Zarya's shield is you can just pop her shield real quick and gain a bunch of damage. But when you're against a Zarya, you also have to make sure that you aren't, in fact, hitting her while her shield's up. Your shield is limited, so you do have to be careful not to overstep. But don't be afraid to step into a fight that will end up raising your shields. Let's go ahead and toggle that.
Looking forward.
While we're still level 1.
Don't wait up.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. So, at level 1, you have 2,430 HP with a 5.05 regeneration. She has 100 maximum energy with a minus 2.5 bleed, or degeneration. Her attack range is 4.5. She deals 25 damage and attacks 4 times per second. That gives her a DPS of 100. And remember, her basic attack is a line attack that hits all targets within the line. We jump up to level 10.
Choose a talent.
We now have 3,459 HP with a 7.2 regeneration. Energy is the same, and her new attack damage is 36. This seems low, but remember how fast she's attacking. When we bounce up to 20,
Choose a talent. Choose a talent.
we have 5,122 HP with a 10.63 regeneration. We now deal 50 damage per second, or 50 damage. Remember, that is 200 damage per second. And as we top
Choose
off
a
at
talent.
30,
Choose a talent.
we have 7,585 HP with a 15.73 regeneration, and we deal 78 damage per second.
Alert enabled.
So, while her attack damage isn't that high, it is extremely fast, and has the potential to be 3 times that. So, that's what, like 250? No. About 230, give or take, at full charge.
Move on.
So to just demonstrate that a little bit, we are working at about 300 DPS, and once we are full on
Acknowledged.
energy, let's go ahead and let that reset.
Maximum charge.
She has the potential to do about 1,000 damage per second.
Maximum charge.
And remember, you're going to be throwing in a couple of attacks from time to time.
Maximum charge. Looking forward to it.
Now, let's go ahead and take a look at our talents. So, at level 1, we have 2 quests. The first one is Demolition Expert. For every 5 enemies hit with your particle grenade, the recharge rate lowers by 0.25 seconds, up to 2 seconds. Remember that the recharge is every 8 seconds, so that lowers it to 6 seconds. Once you've done this 8 times, or hit 40 heroes, the radius will also increase by 15%. I'm a little cross on this one. If it had been, like, if the cooldown went down, or would have been the final bit, like, oh yeah, the radius increases by, like, I don't know, 1.5% or whatever for every 3 heroes hit or something, or every time you hit more than 1 hero at a time, I would have been fine with that. And then, oh, by the way, 2-second cooldown. But when they have it like this, even though it's exactly the same, it just feels a little weaker. I do like that you don't have to hit 5 heroes at a time, but every 5 heroes hit just seems like an obnoxiously long quest to go after, even when you have a skill that is basically spammable. Together we are strong. Every 32 damage done by allies while under a shield ally contributes 1 energy, up to 25 energy per shield. So basically, the more damage your ally does, it gives bonus energy even when they're not taking damage. So if you preemptively give, say, your Illidan the shield while they go on the hunt or something, you could just fill up on energy pretty quickly then. Oh, 25 energy, but you do that a couple of times in the middle of a fight, that could be some pretty nice energy. Next we have Fill the Heat. Zarya's basic attack deals 50% additional damage to enemies within melee range. I like this one personally. She's hitting many people at the same time. However, if you're going against a melee user, somebody comes up and punches you, you start frying their face, you're doing extra damage to them. And remember, you're doing she's doing basically 75 damage 4 times every second. So that's like about 300 damage a second. And now 50% of that, so you're looking at, I don't want to math, and I'm already stuck in my head, like about 450 damage, give or take. So yeah, it's pretty nice. And I like this one. It's not something you have to worry about. Next we have Regen Glow, or Maximum Charge. Regen Globes instantly grant 20 energy. If you spend 120 seconds at or above 50 energy, you now gain a 25 maximum energy bonus. Remember, that's 50 damage. So, or 50% damage. So what ends up happening is with this, you end up getting this. So maximum charge, while you're full, you end up getting the same effects as Fill the Heat. The only problem with that is, Fill the Heat is permanent, where maximum charge is only when you have specifically 125 charge. You can kind of see where I'm coming from this, I hope. While maximum charge will give bonus damage to your Q, you have to build up that energy, and building up energy is easy.
Time to go.
Here, at level 30, just activate it. Eat a couple of tank shots, and yeah, that had us up into about 25s. Do that same thing again.
Why not?
If I had an ally, I could shield them, and they could do the same thing. But in a team fight, your shield is limited. And this is kind of where this becomes a drag. Since your shield is limited, you can only gain a maximum amount of energy every time. So, at level 30, it's every 30 damage. And you only have 1800 damage. I'm not going to do the math on that, but that means you have a limited amount of energy that you can use, and energy does decay. If this was like a build-up resource like Rage or something, much more understandable, but since it's not, Fill the Heat. I just spent way too long basically just saying, go for Fill the Heat. But, I'm still getting back into this. At level 4, we have I Am the Strongest. Personal Barrier absorbs an additional 455 damage. Straight, simple, to the point. Give Me 20 is a quest. Regeneration Globes increase the shield ally absorb amount by 15 up to 300%, or up to 300 damage permanently. Shield ally is 13 at level 30, so that would bring it up to 16, almost the same amount as Personal Barrier. After collecting 20 regen orbs, permanently reduce the cooldown of shield ally by 3 seconds. Here's where this one becomes useful. Shield ally is 12. Personal shield is 10. Reduced by 3 seconds makes that 9. Makes it a much better spell. And all you have to do is collect 20 regen orbs, so that shouldn't take too long. So if you're in a position where you're using your shield ally spell, which you should be constantly, this is an amazing talent to pick up. Speed barrier. Shield ally increases ally hero's movement speed by 25% for the duration. A little bit of a run, not a big deal. And defensive shielding. Upon expiration or breaking, personal barrier and shield barrier reduce the damage of the next 2 basic hero attacks within 12 seconds by 75%. Basically, you can still take 2 punches with a shield. There's not much more to it. So it really comes down to, are you by yourself where you are the strongest, or do you have an ally with give me the 20? I would almost always say give me 20, but since we don't have an ally hero to really use and to our advantage here, I'm going to go with I am the strongest. And I'm also going to make this more of an aggressive build. And we'll talk about a slightly more defensive build for the next one. At level 7, we have pinpoint accuracy. Particle grenade deals 40% more damage to enemies that are hit within the center of the blast. Basic, simple. Explosive barrier. Upon expiration or breaking, personal barrier explodes, dealing 325 damage to nearby enemies. Pretty good, just a simple explosion. To the limit. While above 50 energy, your basic attack size is increased by 35%. Or hit me. Damage absorbed by Zarya's shield contributes 20% more energy. So, excuse me, what we have here is a 20% boost to the energy gain, or a small explosion, or damaging explosion. I mean, energy gain, seriously. We're going aggressive, we're building up energy, we're going to hit hard. Since we're going for the damage build, I'm going to take Expulsion Zone. Yeah, launch a gravity bomb, it deals 403 damage, creates an expulsion zone for 3.5 seconds. Enemies who enter the affected area are knocked back and have their movement speed reduced. Gonna toggle cooldowns real quick to show this. So you create this little point. It deals a decent amount of damage. And it can be used against all enemies. Against bosses, of course, it doesn't throw them because they're immune to Redux, but it can definitely be used to do some damage.
Why not? Maximum charge.
Okay. So, one moment. Excuse me, a little bit nasally. So, where was I? At level 13, we have Unstoppable Competitor. Personal Barrier makes you unstoppable for 1.5 seconds. Great if you're going up against a lot of CC, pretty much useless otherwise. Spell Barrier. Upon expiration or breaking, Personal Barrier grants you Spell Shield, which reduces ability damage by 75% for 3 seconds. This is great. Previously, we'd had the Defensive Barrier. Well, it's only for 2 attacks. This is for a full 3 seconds. This is amazing. Endurance Training. While at or above 75 energy, Zarya gains resistance, reducing all damage by 25%. The problem with this is that this is only when you're at or above 75 energy. But with this more aggressive build, that's a lot easier to attain. And at level 13, we have Pain is temporary. Activate to consume all energy and gain a shield that absorbs 0.5% of Zarya's maximum health per energy consumed. Blah. So, in theory, if you have a shield, 100 energy, that will give you a 50% of your maximum health shield. Now we're going to go with endurance training. Excuse me. At level 16, there's plasma shock. Particle grenades now slow movement by 35% for 1 second. Cleansing shield. Shield removes all disabling effects. If you'd previously grabbed unstoppable competitor, cleansing shield is a must-have because it gives your allies that same effect. Gain train. Shield ally now grants an untalented shield to a nearby ally upon impact. So basically 2 for the price of 1 shield allies. If you didn't pick up cleanse, or if you didn't pick up unstoppable competitor and thus need cleansing shield, you're probably better off with gaining taint or gain train, because you're shielding 2 people who are now giving you energy. And born in battle. While at or above 75% energy, or 75 energy, your cooldowns regenerate 25% faster. Which means more shields, which means more energy, which means 25% faster, more shields, more energy. Yeah. At level 20, we have Clear Out. Increase the explosion zone radius by 15%, and Zarya's maximum energy temporarily increases by 10 per enemy hit for 10 seconds. Okay, that seems nice. Next we have Grenadier. All particle grenade charges are returned at once. This is a very simple one. We've seen this a couple of times before. Actually, I believe Tracer even has a very similar talent. So this is great. You just throw out all 4 of your particle grenades and get them back every 8 seconds. And then Unyielding Defender. Activate to reset your shields. Not so good, but could definitely come in handy. We're going to go with Grenadier.
Done.
And instead of burning through this, I'm actually going to take out the boss. So, we're going to go ahead and start off with our big hit, and we're going to get in close. So, as you can see,
Alert enabled.
boss kicks ass. So, let's go ahead and try that again. This time with a bit of a head start. Let's actually heal up real quick. Now, one of the bad things about the boss is going into the boss fight is a very planned event. So, if we go ahead and toggle cooldowns,
Maximum
just give
charge.
ourselves a little bit of a buff. And now we enter. See, because of our above 75% talents, we can attack much faster. And remember, we're also taking 25% less damage. Whenever he's not doing his big charge, we want to be up close so we can do that bonus 25% damage. But whenever he is doing it, we want to back off and just start pounding him with particle grenades.
Looking forward to it.
If we go ahead and start the minions, remember we are against another Zarya, so we don't want to be too stupid. You want to try to aim yourself in a way where you're going to do the most damage possible with a single spell. Or single attack, I should say.
Acknowledged. I'm just getting warmed up.
And now that we're in close, we're just gonna separate her a little bit and take it out. Simple, clean, to the point. Now we're gonna go ahead and reset our talents.
Choose a talent.
Now for this build, we're gonna go a little bit more friendly. So, I'm gonna go ahead and just take maximum charge. Since, actually, thinking about that, I'm gonna go ahead and take maximum charge. Since we're going to be much more defensive, it's a nice thing to have. However, Together We Are Strong is definitely a possible go for it. It really, if I could choose a different ally and maybe pick an ally who's much more aggressive, I'd probably go with Together We're Strong. But with maximum charge, I can pick up a minion wave and get 20 energy.
Hard work is
At
its
4?
own reward.
I mean, we're gonna go with Give Me 20. At level 7, a couple of these are pretty nice. However, this kind of comes out to a little bit of a flip. If you're doing a lot of melee or a lot of damage, To the Limit is pretty nice because it expands your thing. This one is for your personal shield, I believe, but it could be for the other. I haven't actually had much chance to check. Explosive Barrier is great if you're being jumped on. So, I think I'm going to go with To the Limit because I've kind of already showed you Hit Me, and To the Limit's kind of cool.
Alert
Just to kind of show that off, we're going to pop up above
Maximum
100%.
charge.
You can see how big it is now. While above 50%, the size is increased by 35%. And the moment I hit below 50, I drop down.
Looking forward to it.
So that's basically from a melee minion all the way to the archer minion when you're above 50%. Okay, so we're going to go with Gravitational Surge.
Strong as the mountain.
If you've played Overwatch, this is the one you know. And then you throw a couple of grenades in there while they're stuck. Everybody's stuck and all together. At level 13. This is a pretty good one. I'm going to go with Spell Barrier. Now, ironically, since I don't really need to worry about disabling effects, or also I don't have a second ally to heal, I'm going to go with Born into Battle. This will give me higher abilities after I get into this. So, as my energy expands and gets better, I'll have faster cooldowns, able to gain more energy faster. We've had this discussion. And at level 20, Gravity Kills. Increase the gravitational surge duration by 1 second, and cause it to deal 500 damage over the duration. So, I'm going to go ahead and toggle my ally, who will then heal me. Gotta make sure that
Ready for action.
everything's good. And we'll toggle minions. So this is a much more supporty build. Like I said, I kind of wish I could pick a better ally.
Best shot.
And did not mean to... And even still, with a much more defensive build, I'm still pretty much wrecking face, because Zarya is one of those tanks that's designed to be powerful while she's defending, and pretty much useless if you don't play her as a tank. Go ahead. Anyway, so as I was saying, the character design is a very heavy tank. If you're not playing tanky, you're pretty much going to get screwed. Even when you're being aggressive, as you saw against the boss, I was basically worthless. Unless I was... Let's go ahead and just do that real quick.
Maximum charge.
Like, I was... One thing I do like about this is its charge time is not... concurrent, so if you drop below energy,
Maximum
you'll
charge.
still have like, oh, I got up to 111 seconds, and then you drop below the energy threshold for that quest, you can then get back up your energy, and then it improves you. It's a nice little thing. So now, as you can see, I'm at 125 energy, which is 250 damage.
I will enjoy this.
Which by itself sounds kind of stupid, but if we were to get down here and oh yeah, that's right, I have cooldowns on, but still, that's a lot of damage right there. Anyway, as I was saying, even when you're building her aggressive, you want to be tanky. You need to step into shots that would kill other characters, pop your shield, and laugh. If you're not doing that, you will have no damage. Like when I fought the boss with the first build, until I turned on, like, got that charge boost to start off,
charge.
he walked through us. But the moment I had enough charge to have my 75% cooldown reduction and damage reduction, I walked in, we took him out. It was great. Anyway, I hope this encourages y'all to play around with and play Zarya. If anybody has any other builds or thoughts on how you could play her, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And just throw some random stuff in the comment section. It's a great way to talk to people. Have some random ideas, what you think they could have done or should have done differently. Let's get some stuff started. But for now, have fun, and goodbye.